Wednesdays with Keegan and Keegs. I think we could make a very strong case that right now, as we sit here on June 10th, Brandon Valenzuela is the MVP of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Dan, I thought you were going to say the Blue Jays are back. I thought that was going to be your case.
That's
and I was going to say,
my next
sure,
thing.
We'll do it again next week. But man, Valenzuela, there's a world, Dan, in which Alejandro Kirk does not catch that foul tip off his thumb and break it. And we are not seeing Brandon Valenzuela, maybe this year at all. He has been one of the best stories on this team. Ernie Clement, and I agree with him, called him their most improved player just from the start of spring training up until now. This is what it looks like, Dan, when a prospect kind of hits their ceiling. Like I've written 1,000 prospect reports. I've read 1,000,000. And all of them say something along the lines of, oh, this guy is going to be maybe a glove first, a good defensive shortstop. And if he hits, then he can be a starter. With Valenzuela, it's always, he's a good framer, a good blocker. He can control the running game. He has a big arm. And if he ever starts to hit, then there's something more in there. That's usually BS, though. That's usually just filler. Like, they never hit it. Brandon Valenzuela's hitting it right now. And it's been a combination of his confidence, which I promise you is not lacking. It's been coaching. They have encouraged him to, like Brandon Valenzuela is a big dude. I have no interest in him slapping a single to the opposite field. The hitting coaches have told him to, quote unquote, Dan, get physical, which is a new buzzy. It means just swing as hard as you can. Use your big body and try to hit the baseball very far. And that seems to be clicking with him. Now, eventually the league is going to catch up and they're going to study him and it'll be tough for sure. But he has become undeniable at this point. I don't think it's a conversation anymore who sticks around. And frankly, Dan, when Kirk comes back, he will need a little extra time. He's not going to play 6 days a week. That will help Valenzuela ease into a backup role. And when guys come back from broken bones in their hands, it doesn't make them better. There's usually a bit of a power outage at the start for guys with broken bones in their hands because you're not using that hand for a while. It affects the muscles. So you're not going to see Valenzuela playing over Kirk, but you could see this being closer to a split than most people expect, at least early on. And man, just what a story. What a trade for Will Wagner last year. Like one of the best trades this front office has made.
Well, you bring up the return of Kirk, but is there not a scenario where they both play a lot in the same game? And that would mean George Springer, you got to sit on the bench.
Could. George Springer has had a tough year. First base is another option if there are days when Vladdy DHs. Valenzuela played a bit of first base in the minor leagues. He's kind of toyed with it in the big leagues, during BP and ground balls. We'll see. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see if it works. But George Springer now, like I know we talk about Vladdy a lot, but I think the amount we've talked about Vladdy has kind of saved George Springer a bit because he's not doing well. And Dan, I think back to 2024, not last year when he was great, but the year before. And that's the year that John Schneider drove everyone crazy by really, really, really supporting George Springer. Springer looked his age. He looked like he was on the decline. He looked slow. And that year, it wasn't just John Schneider saying like, hey, he's going to come around like he does with Vladdy. He was saying like, he was really adamant. Like there's some stuff under the hood. There are some advanced numbers. We really believe that he's going to bounce back. And I remember at the time thinking like, this sounds out of the ordinary for John Schneider. And he was right. It took a while, but he was right that there was still something in there for Springer. So I'm curious to see how the Blue Jays handle that publicly the next week. Is Schneider going to sound the same as he did 2 years ago? Or will there be an openness to Springer dropping down the lineup, maybe playing 5 games of the week instead of 6? It's an uncomfortable conversation. You've got a guy who's at the end of a $150 million deal, and he's George Springer. But you need to win games right now. And that's what I keep coming back to, Dan. It's the same with the Valenzuela and Heineman conversation. Like, I'm hearing too many fans say the words asset management. Like, where has our sense of wonder gone? Okay, like it's bad enough that people in the media try to walk and talk and dress like front office people. It drives me nuts, all this cosplaying stuff. Like, if a front office person made up a word, you would hear sports media people regurgitating it on your TV in a week. Okay. I hate it.
Mhm.
We don't need to talk in terms of asset management. Okay. Like, this is not a stock portfolio. This is baseball. And the goal is to win baseball games right now, not theoretically, maybe a year from now with better depth, right now. This Blue Jays team is built to win a World Series. Valenzuela, if he is in the lineup over someone who is more established, so be it, man. They need to win in 2026.
Well, it made Schneider's decision a lot easier because we've had this discussion a lot. Which one do you keep, Heineman or Valenzuela? So now he knows which everyone. It's very obvious which one he keeps. So would Heineman report to the minors or would he just be released?
That would be a DFA because he's out of options. And then it would be interesting to see if Heineman goes claimed on waivers. If somebody wants a piece of Heineman right now, his salary is low and catching depth around baseball is very, very thin. So it's very possible that a team does pick him up. I always, Dan, and here before I've done it, compared it to quarterbacks in the NFL where there just are not enough catchers in Major League Baseball. And Heineman offensively this year, it ain't there, but he can still catch and frame and control the running game. That's valuable. But there's also a world in which he clears and is outrighted to AAA Buffalo. That would be an ideal world, honestly, for the Blue Jays if Heineman can stay in the organization, because catchers get the crap beaten out of them. I mean, it's the highest injury position on the field because you're not just dealing with what you're doing at the plate, you're dealing with foul tips like Kirk getting in that thumb and all the wear and tear that comes with it. So it's possible he sticks around, but catching is just so thin. Like, if anyone listening has a 5-year-old getting into baseball, teach them to catch. If they can hit left-handed, even better. They've got like a 50% chance of reaching the big leagues at that point.
It was a game, a win against the Phillies, a walk-off by Valenzuela, a game in which Dylan Cease returned, only gave up 3 hits, 1 earned run, struck out 11. He's been dominant on the strikeouts. And what's amazing is, so Cease started, Scherzer starts Wednesday, and we have no bullpen games in the foreseeable future, at least for games that have listed starters. This is uncharted territory lately for the Jays.
It's a real team, man.
Yeah.
And even I'm relieved. I hate this whole song and dance of like not announcing who's going to start tomorrow. It's a mystery, even though we all know what's happening. I just play baseball.
Mhm.
You know, this is so much better. It's back to normal. And I mean, I bet John Schneider got the best sleep of his season last night, man. Like, he can finally just roll out 5 starters and treat his bullpen like the bullpen. There's no more borrowing from 2 or 3 days down the line. Oh, can I use Spencer Miles here when I need him on Friday? Can I use Adam Macko here, the long man, when I might need him tomorrow? Now you just focus in on each day on winning that game. Thank God. Now, Scherzer still needs to pitch well. That's the kicker in this. You know, Dan, last year and this year combined in Toronto, he's got a 6 ERA. I think it's a 5.99. That doesn't work. I know there have been injuries along the way. It was the thumb, it was the forearm, it was the ankle at one point. So we haven't seen a fully healthy version of Max Scherzer very often, but you need him to be performing out there. And I think that's an uncomfortable conversation for a lot of people because he's Max Scherzer. You know, if you take the name out of it, and this is a AAA guy coming up and putting up a 5.99, a lot of people are talking about this differently. But I think there's a hesitancy because it's Max Scherzer. There's still, again, I keep coming back to urgency this year. You got to win right here, right now. So this is a really big night for Max Scherzer, honestly, because Shane Bieber's coming back too. Another week, maybe 2. They could be at a point, including Patrick Corbin, where they have 6 starters. What do you do then? I don't know. It's the real answer, Dan, is that something else will go wrong in the meantime, whatever. But let's dream for a second. You have 6 starters. I don't know.
You know what Tuesday night's win felt like? We've had glimpses of. I know we don't always have to go back to last season, but it was a case of where Louis Varland gives up only his 2nd earned run of the year, and the team said, "You know what? You've done your job. We got you, bro. We got you, bro." And they win it in the bottom of the 9th, almost as a thank you to Louis.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been right to have Louis Varland lose that. He has a 0.5 ERA. I mean, come on. He is one of the best, maybe the best relievers in baseball. He should be an all-star. He's never giving up that. He's the closer now. He's probably going to be the closer for the next few years. And the ninth inning, I mean, some luck involved, a couple choppy ground balls that worked out. But setting up Valenzuela in that spot, I mean, he had a great at bat. That's the most encouraging part for me, because Valenzuela, he could have taken a big hack, tried to hit one over the wall, but he shot a single the other way. It was perfect. But it did feel like last year where there was a bit of counterpunching involved in this, because it's that sense of dread that you get from fans now. Like when the Blue Jays get down 1-0 early on, the feeling this year is not they'll come back. The feeling is I will turn my TV to something else and watch something else. So this is the first step, and when you're playing this brand of baseball, bounces do start to go your way. There is a balance to this. There is some cosmic balance to how baseball works. And when you're playing baseball the right way and playing it efficiently and not booting the ball around and making a mess of things, you will get the good bounces in your favor, which is absolutely what started that rally last night. It wasn't great baseball, but who cares? And I think the Jays are getting back a little bit towards that. To steal a win against Zach Wheeler, I mean, that's big stuff too.
And it was all new faces. So Jesus Sanchez started it off, then Pinago, and then Valenzuela. So all new blood are the ones who got it done.
On a day that Charles McAdoo played first and Vladdy led off.
Yeah, that was weird.
People talk like they know how the season's going to work out. I don't. Nobody does. It's gotten here. I feel like when I'm in the day-to-day of covering this team, I don't get to step back and realize how strange this has all gotten, because every day there's a new story. I mean, today it could be Dalton Varsho. We don't know how he's doing. Every day there's a new story, and you kind of lose track of how far this lineup has gotten from normal. Like when I saw the Blue Jays lineup come out last night, it did look good, right? Like it's a lineup that if you had shown me this in spring training and said, this is what it'll look like on June 9th, I would have said, maybe I'll just take a year off. And maybe I'll just take stress leave for the year and get out of here for a while. But they're making it work, man. And you need those success stories. Last year, the success stories came from the big league roster. It was George Springer, mostly. He was that, wow, big, overachieving success story. This year, it's more in the fringes with Valenzuela, Pinago. If Pinago can ever learn to play defense half competently, he's a big leaguer for a long time. I don't know. And Jesus Sanchez as well. These young guys coming
Happiest guy in baseball.
Oh, he's so happy to be there. My God, I wish I could take his demeanor into the workplace. I think it'd be better for everybody. But they're winning on the edges now. And this is half of the recipe. If they were getting these contributions from Valenzuela, Pinago, and Sanchez while Vladdy was playing well and while George Springer was playing well, they would be 20 games above 500. Like everything else is there. This is a team that's actually doing quite well. Starting rotation, the healthy guys doing well. Bullpen is doing well. They're a team that is just completely without their stars right now. That's all that's missing, which is a weird thing to have missing right now. Your best players are all that's missing.
Speaking of best players, the color commentators on the Jays broadcasts, they've been given a leash that's a lot longer maybe than usual, because first we heard Caleb Joseph rip into the Jays when they're on the road. And then Joe Siddle last night, he openly said, this is the worst version of Vladdy we have ever seen.
I like it. Number one, I loved Caleb's rant. Good.
Mm-hmm.
He was right. He was very right. And I love Caleb. If he was off television, it would have been much more colorful too, I bet you. But he was right, and it was great. It is the worst version of Vladdy we've seen, because we saw him struggle when he was younger, but he was still learning. There's no more learning. And it's frustrating because we can be told over and over again that he's close. I know he's close. I know it can take a swing, it can take a game, et cetera, et cetera. I've heard the quotes 1,000 times. I've told people those quotes 1,000 times. I get it. But he doesn't look close. And that's the frustrating part. When Vladdy's cold, he's all the way cold. And then when it clicks, he swings all the way back. Some players, I'll use Bo Bichette as an example. You could track him moving from cold to hot very clearly. He'd start shooting line drives down the right field line. He'd start hitting hard balls the other way. You'd see it slowly happening, so you could track it. With Vladdy, it looks bad until instantly it looks good, which is hard to believe in. And I understand that from the fan perspective as well, that when you're watching a game, it doesn't look good
No,
right now.
lost.
And it's very clear what pitchers are doing to him. They're throwing breaking balls away that Vladdy is flailing his bat at, and they're pounding him inside with pitches that last year he would turn on. He would flip his hips and turn on them and launch them. This year, he's just not. But the outside breaking balls are killing him. And when people who are listening to this are watching tonight, like when you watch Vladdy on these outside breaking balls, watch his waist. Last year, his entire body would lower and launch through it. This year, he's just kind of tilting over. And think of yourself, if you bend over to pick something up off the ground, your legs are just dead, right? You're just kind of there. So much of Vladdy's power comes from his legs, those upper legs and his hips. When you bend over and tilt forward at the waist, those are gone. All you've got is your arms, and you're just flicking your wrists through a slider, probably not touching it at all. It just doesn't look like Vladdy right now. He's outside of himself. I spoke to him about it. He's very confident. He said, "Don't worry about this. I'm going to be hot, and when I am hot, it will be very hot." But it's a matter of patience. It's June 10th. It's June 10th, and he has 3 home runs.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense.
Addison Barger. The saying is, no news is good news, but when it comes to professional athlete, no news means I've got a lot of questions because since Addison Barger came back for one game, got hurt, we have heard nothing. What is going on there?
Yeah, not much. It's every single injury ever. Just multiply the length of time by 2. I mean, I think it needs to be a bit more of media's job, not to just parrot the most optimistic possible outcome, because everybody's going to be back in the minimum time, and then it's 5 weeks, right? Barger, he had an injection at one point. He's been a bit slower than the Blue Jays thought he would be getting back, built up throwing. He's also had some elbow problems in the past, like nothing major, nothing blown out, but he's had some nagging elbow stuff in the past. And that's just the result, Dan, of
one throw,
maxing out. And how much can the human body take? Barger, you look at him, his shoulder, his chest, his arms. He is a linebacker who plays baseball. But within the elbow are tiny ligaments and little pieces of the body that are only built to do so much. The strain that I put on my elbow, pretty casual. Sitting here typing, maybe lifting a beer. The elbow is built to do that. What Addison Barger is asking of the human elbow and what pitchers are asking when they throw 100, it just goes beyond what it's capable of. And I think Barger has pushed the human body pretty far.
My fear, though, is when he comes back that we aren't going to see those missiles from right, because they're going to tell him, don't do that again.
And I don't think he has a 4th gear in him. Like I think if you asked Addison Barger to play at 98%, he would lose his mind. Like he only knows 100%. So they need to get this. Like every injury, you need to heal 100%. I get it. But with Barger, like this needs to be 110% healed. Perfect. Because he's not going, like I promise you, he is not going to ease off the gas whatsoever. Like he's the last guy in baseball who would protect his arm or be careful here. But even when he's back, like, Dan, I'm going to be waiting for that first, fly ball to right field with a runner tagging home and he uncorks one. What's it going to look like? And is he throwing 95 miles instead of 100 miles an hour now? We'll see. But they need him, man. Like, they need him so badly in this lineup because he was supposed to be the breakout star of this. He had the highest ceiling potential to help this lineup. And again, it all comes back to Vladdy. If Vladdy is not hitting for power, you need the secondary guys to be doing that. Springer has not done it. Barger hasn't even been there to do it, which is why this has been a complete lack of power in this lineup.
Finally, Captain Kirk, any day now?
Man, finally. I think Friday. Maybe Saturday. Maybe Saturday's likely. Or Friday or Saturday. He's the most important piece in all this that's been missing. Man, like, even when you consider the starters, they've made it work, whatever. I don't care how good Brandon Valenzuela has been. There's no replacing Alejandro Kirk. He is so representative of the Blue Jays' offensive identity, and he is twice the catcher people assume. Like, I know he has a good defensive rep. You got to multiply that in your mind. He is so important to this entire pitching staff and just to the identity of this team, man. It'll feel like the Blue Jays again when Kirk is back. I feel like he's that piece where it's been so long and so unsettled, but you're going to see Kirk back. You're going to hear that music that plays when he comes to the plate that makes people go crazy. That will be a very, very big one. And I think that'll really help turn things around.
And you made a great point that if he hadn't gone down to injury, we wouldn't be living in the Brandon Valenzuela experience right now. So good point. Thanks, my friend.
You got it.